Hello everyone, thanks for showing up with me today. I've got a practice for you today that's going to have a soft focus on back bending, but also our usual focus on breathing and real presence. Your full presence is required for your yoga, and you'll find that as you progress, as you keep showing up every week, that you will start to go further and get more benefits out of your practice. Remember that you don't need to do really impressive sort of gymnastic type poses to be doing a powerful yoga practice. All that's really required is your full presence, and it's with that you will be able to enter into each pose, even simple poses, with a curiosity and an ability to really feel what's going on in your body. So let's practice all of that today. You're going to continue to come back to the present every time you feel your mind start to wander, and you're going to continue practicing with your breath, and I'll guide you through the rest, okay? So let's settle right in and begin. So you find a comfortable seated posture or kneeling posture for yourself. And just start to feel your awareness go inward. And you want to really feel what's going on inside. How are you feeling? Let's all arrive together for our practice. And straight away begin to focus on your breathing. As you get settled and get comfortable, you're going to focus on the breath. So you're going to inhale, nice full inhale, and do the same with the exhale. Just a couple more times like that, really feeling the inhale expand and really feeling that slight contraction as you exhale, just expelling all the staleness that you can. And then the next time you inhale, focus a little bit more there. Since we're going to do back bends, it is quite stimulating, so we're going to have a really invigorating breath. You're going to focus on the inhale, and we're going to segment that inhale as best we can. So when you inhale next, imagine that you're inhaling right into this upper chest around the collarbones, tiny little pause, and then continue that same inhale around the lower rib cage. And tiny little pause, and then maybe you can continue the same inhale and breathe into the lower or upper lower abdomen area. And then when you exhale, we're just going to have one continuous exhale. So let's just try this. I'm going to exaggerate the sound of the breath just a little bit. So when you inhale, it's, and then right in the midsection. And then the last part of that inhale, as low down as you can get it. And then open your mouth since we're all alone, and let's exhale out through the mouth. Let's just continue like this just for a few breaths. And if for any reason you find that breath distracting, you're just going to breathe really fully and complete inhales and let go of the exhale through your mouth. Let's just try this a couple more times. Just be really present with this breathing. And then blink your eyes open and continue really long inhales and really long exhales. And we're going to just add a little movement with that. So bringing your arms to the sides of the body. The next time you inhale, breathe the arms up. Take as full of a breath as you can over the head. Feel yourself reach. And then put the hands together above your head, and as you exhale, just bend the elbows and lower the hands, the folded hands, right to your heart. As you inhale, you're going to reach up, straight up the midline of the body, reaching up again. Really full breath. And then as you exhale, palms turn out, and you come right back with fingertips to the floor. And then again, turning the palms up as you inhale, breathe up, taking up as much space as you can, reaching up over the head, and gently let the finger points touch each other over your head. And as you exhale, just slowly bring those folded hands to the heart. And then a really big inhale as you just take those folded hands back up, straight up, reaching, separating those fingers. And then as you exhale, the palms are pointing down, and you exhale down. Let's continue that just one more time. You start with fingertips pointing upward, and you inhale really wide, and again take up space, embody your yoga space. And as you exhale, fingertips just touch, and you just slowly lower those folded hands to the heart. And then you inhale, breathe up, really full breath. And then you exhale and just breathe right down the hands to the sides of the body. And then once you're there, you're going to inhale next and breathe the left arm up and really stretch. And as you exhale, just lean over just a little bit. Just pause there for just a moment. And can you, just a little bit, the next time you inhale, can you just breathe your chest a little bit more upward? And just feel what happens in the left lumbar side of the low back. And then coming back to center. On your next inhale, you're going to breathe up with the left arm and exhale it down. Exact same thing on the other side. You're going to inhale, breathe the arm up, the right arm. Reach up nice and high, and as you exhale, just let your hand reach over your head and feel that really pure side bend first. Just be present with yourself so you can lean over as far as is comfortable for you, but you feel the stretch. And then slowly on your next inhale, you're just going to let the chest just look up just a little bit. Maybe your gaze looks up as well. And just feel that little effect on the right side of your lumbar spine. And then coming back to center, on the inhale, you're going to breathe up and exhale, bring the arms down. Let's just have a twist before we come out of this seated posture. So you're going to inhale really tall. As you exhale, just pivot over towards the right. Navel upward is going towards the right. Park your left hand on the right knee, and your left fingertips go somewhere behind you to anchor you. And just breathe into your twist as much as is comfortable. Find the spot. As you inhale, you want to get really tall, and chin tries to stay parallel with the floor. And maybe when you exhale, you can go a little bit further, maybe just nudging that right shoulder a little bit back. And then on an inhale, come on back again. One more time to the other side now. As you inhale, you want to feel the length. As you exhale, you're going to put the right hand now on your left knee, and the left fingertips are behind, nice and tall when you inhale next. And then just exhale into the twist, any amount that feels good to you. And just be here for a couple of breaths. Remember, as you inhale, you're thinking length. And when you exhale, maybe you can come into the twist just a little bit more. And then inhale and breathe out of that. Fantastic. Hands to the heart. Namaste. Welcome all. And let's go ahead now and come right over to our hands and knees. So anything you're sitting on, you can get that out of the way. When you first come to the hands and knees, just widen your knees just a little bit and set your hips right down between your heels. And let's just have a really long stretch in the extended child's position. You want to TP your fingers a little bit and press into those finger points and just see how much can you sink your hips towards your heels. And once that happens, can you let go a little bit more through the heart space, through your forehead, and just sink down. And just feel any effects in your low back. Feel any effects in your mid back. And in this back bending little sequence, of course, we are going to be affecting the back. So breathe into that. Very nice. And then slowly on an inhale, let's come on back up. Leave your knees nice and wide. Take your left hand and just park it right in the center so that when you inhale next, you're just bringing the right arm out to the side, all the way up over the head. And just feel this little twist, and it's just comfortable, so you're not struggling. If you can only come to here, that's fine. Remember, just yawn that arm open and reach, full breathing, and then exhale, release the right arm. And bring the right hand right to center so you can do the same thing on the other side. And of course, this time the left arm is breathing up as you inhale. You're just coming up, pointing up to the ceiling as much as you're able to do. And just have a pause here and just breathe a couple times, feeling the pressing down in the right hand and the reaching up with the left. And then let's release it down. Come into your tabletop position, nice and carefully, knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Lovely. And then as you're ready, we're going to begin the cat-cow series. So you're just inhaling and you're bringing the sternum forward and up and the tailbone up. Remember to press into those inner hands. So even in this, you're feeling a little bit of engagement in those between your upper arms, in the medial part of your upper arms. So just feel the strength in your arms. As you exhale, the chin comes towards the chest, tailbone tucks under, and you're rounding your spine with a nice core engagement. And let's go just back and forth like that. Inhaling into the cow stretch, pressing into those inner hands, looking forward and up, and tailbone points up, and exhaling into the cat stretch. Just breathe nice and easy. Remember, the movement follows your breath. And then coming back to a neutral spine the next time you inhale, so that you can exhale and you're sitting your hips back. Nice and easy, reaching your hands forward. So that the next time you inhale, you're going to pull the floor towards you. Make sure those elbows point straight down, and just let the spine just travel through between those arms. And can you come all the way into a modified upward facing dog? As you exhale, you're really getting the navel close to the spine to take yourself all the way back to that extended child's position. See if you can really get into a lovely rhythm with your breath. As you inhale, you're pulling the floor towards you. You feel tone in your arms, and you're just bringing the spine through your arms forward as much as you can. Really place weight into the inner hands. As you inhale, finish that inhale and press into the hands. Look up. You have a long way to go with each breath. As you exhale, tummy button goes inward towards the spine, and you pull yourself back into that extended child's pose. Beautiful. One more time. Inhaling, pulling yourself through, just feeling how powerful your body is and how fluidly it can move. And as you exhale, coming right back into the starting position, into the extended child's position rather. And from this extended child's position, reach your arms a little, or fingertips a little more forward. As you exhale, just walk those fingers over to the right a little bit and settle as you exhale. And just feel that lovely stretch in the side of the left side of the body.
As you inhale, just look forward a little bit, walk those fingertips back to center, really feel that length. And then as you exhale, keep walking over to the left and release on your next exhale. And keep breathing even if you hold it through another breath. And so on an inhale, you want to come up, just a little rise in your head and gaze, and bring those fingertips back to center. One last stretch. And then with a really firm core engagement, just brush those hands. Those fingertips are just glazing the mat. You're really, really drawing the navel close into the core. And you're coming back into a kneeling position. Bring your knees together. Bring the hands back into the tabletop position. One hand length further ahead with each hand. Tuck the toes under and let's have a lovely stretch in downward facing dog. And then your downward facing dog, doesn't matter if your heels touch the floor, remember, but you are trying to be conscious of your foot placement. So make sure you feel the big toe mound pressing into the floor. Don't let your feet splay out. So really get mindful with that placement of your feet and maybe come into one foot a little more with weight. And then the other. If you're doing that, try not to lean into one arm. See if you can keep both arms equally as strong and just focus for a moment on the lower body. Very good. And when you feel like maybe you've had enough of that and for now, and your downward facing dog feels really good, then lower your knees to the floor, putting the hands back under the shoulders, letting those feet relax down. On your next inhale, bring the right leg back and press, feel that stretch. As you inhale next, the left arm goes up. And just hold that for another breath. You're looking straight down. As you exhale, bend elbow and knee and feel that constriction, feel the flexion, think cat pose. And then inhale, stretch out. And then on the exhale again, bending elbow, bending knee, putting them closer together and rounding the spine. As you inhale, reach. And just one last time now, you're bringing the elbow and the knee a little closer together. You don't have to cross in the front. You're just really thinking about rounding the spine. And then inhale, reach out back into your bird dog pose. And then release, knee and hand to the floor. If you'd like, you can shake out that supporting wrist. Let's do the exact same thing on the other side. On your inhale, left leg goes back, press out through the foot, press out through the heel, and on your next inhale, raise the left arm. Feel that length. So really reach both with the left heel and those right fingertips. And then on your next exhale, the elbow bends, the knee bends, and you come right into a cat-like spine. And on the inhale, you reach. And on the exhale again, into the cat spine, feeling that lovely flexion and then extension as you inhale. And last time, as you exhale, bend the elbow, bend the knee. Nice little cat spine. And then inhale and reach and stretch. And release. And just one time now, I've come into your extended child's pose. Just let the back release just a little bit from what you've just done and maybe sway a little bit side to side. And come on back into the cat or into the tabletop position. Bring your hands one hand length further ahead. Flex your toes under and let's come into downward facing dog. And in this downward facing dog, feel as though the front body, every time you exhale, is trying to come closer to the back body. And the back body is trying to press into the front body. So you really feel firm and held in the downward facing dog. And then as you inhale, slowly come into a plank pose. Remember, you want the weight into the inner hands. You want to feel real tone in your upper arms. It's as if you're trying to isometrically bring them closer together. Feel the strength here. Really draw that navel close into the spine. As you exhale, draw the navel even closer in. It's like you're trying to get your tummy over a hurdle as you lift back into downward facing dog. Let your head and neck relax. Very lovely. And as you inhale, come back into plank another time. Feel all the engagement in the arms, inner hands. And let's slowly drop the knees to the floor. You can go ahead and just lower, or if you'd like to really challenge your upper arms, you can try to put your chest to the floor first and just come on to the floor now. So you're lying on the floor, and we're just going to have just a few cobra stretches. So go ahead and bring your fingertips back, elbows pointing straight up to the ceiling. You know how to do this. Make sure everything feels good in the lower body. Maybe sashay your hips back and forth a little bit. As you inhale, you're rolling those shoulders up, back and down, and just lifting your chest a little bit. As you exhale, you're lowering down. Just a couple more breaths like that and see how it feels as you lift your chest. Are you bringing your shoulder blades a little bit closer together, and are you making the upper part of your back work a little bit? And then last time, breathe up. And exhale. Let's release back down again. And from this position, your forehead is on the floor, and of course you can breathe, so you might need to tuck that nose under just a little bit. Bring the arms straight back. And we're just going to have a really simple movement where you really engage as you come into a little bit of a back bend. So from here, again, arms are long, legs are long. And as you inhale, just begin to slowly raise your forehead, raise your nose, raise your chest, raise those shoulder bones, and then raise the arms. And just feel the work more around your shoulder blades than you do in your low back. And then release that forehead to the floor. And so let's try that again, nice and slowly. Your arms and legs, of course, are long, and when you begin to inhale, it's just a process. Your tailbone is heavy and your pubic bone is rooted to the floor. And make sure that's happening. This time, really with your awareness, with the pubic bone rooted down, just start to lift your gaze. When you feel your nose come off the floor, you want those shoulder bones to come away from the floor as the chest rises, arms rise, and just feel if there's any difference there. And can you hold it for a couple of breaths? And slowly exhale and relax. Just have a breath or two here. And let's just try something similar. I need to come away from the wall a little bit, but just bring your arms out to sort of those airplane arms. And everything else will be very similar here. So feel your pubic bone rooted down, your tailbone nice and heavy. And then begin lifting your forehead with that heaviness in the pubic bone. Lift your forehead, lift your nose, and then lift both arms and press out left to right as much as you can. And then exhale, release down. So just these little movements are really going to strengthen your back. Let's try it again. You've got this, so your pubic bone's nice and heavy. When you begin to inhale, all you're doing is lifting the forehead, lifting the nose, and then at the same time, you begin to lift the chest and the arms. And once the arms are airborne, you're really reaching left to right with those arms. And exhale, release. Nice big breath there. Really inhale and exhale fully, and then bring your hands right underneath your shoulders, right beside your chest, and let's lift up. If you want to come into a brief little child's pose, you can. And then we're just going to all come into pose of a child. So we're going to start just a little sequence. It's going to be really simple, and I will talk you right through it. So in the tabletop position, as you inhale next, come into cow pose, lifting the heart, lifting the tailbone. As you exhale, come into the cat pose. Nice little rounding in the spine. Inhale, breathing into your cow. And exhale, coming right into the cat position. And breathing into the cow. And exhaling into the cat position. And as you inhale, coming into a neutral tabletop position, you just bring your elbows where your hands were, and your forearms on the floor, and then bring your feet back. And here we are in a forearm plank, so we are starting to build strength. I want you to really modify this pose to suit you. I want you to feel your big toe mounds on the floor and draw the core really in as you press down through the forearms. Really strong pose. And then slowly drop your knees to the floor. Keep your forearms on the floor. If you need to draw them back a little bit, you can. We're going to come into Dolphin pose, which is downward facing dog on our forearms. So come into that, and the energy in the pose is similar to downward facing dog. You're pushing the floor away with your forearms and hands, looking right back at your thighs, and just feel the power in this pose. Let your face be relaxed and have another breath. And then slowly drop your knees. And let's come on to our tummies. Bring your hands right back towards the chest and just have a cobra pose that you're going to hold for 3 breaths. So make sure the pubic bone's rooted down. Make sure those shoulder bones and arm bones go up, back, and down as you lift your heart just a little bit. Hands are light. Let the back do the work. Your upper and middle back. And then release down. And from here, bring your arms stretched straight out. And as you inhale, we're coming to a version of locust pose. So you're really just bringing your head off the floor, your nose off the floor, arm bones off the floor, and you're reaching back. And if it feels okay, you can lift your feet a little bit. And can you hold this for 2 more breaths? And slowly release, and just let your low back be in this prone position for a couple of breaths. And now I invite you to try bow pose. Remember, bow pose is bending the knees, clasping the tops of your feet. And then as you inhale, it's important that the shoulder bones go up and back, and maybe you can lift up your thighs. You're pressing the feet into the hands, not the other way around. And if that doesn't suit you, what I want you to do is another locust pose, just like you did before. So pick which pose you'd like to do, and we're going to hold it for 3 breaths. And when you've done that, you're going to lower the thighs if you're in bow pose. And in either case, you're going to come out of the pose right into a prone position. And then slowly, we're going to make a transition into pose of a child. So you want to press those hands into the floor, lift up, and bring those hips towards the heels. And just for right now, let's just put one fist on top of the other. And for 3 breaths, be in your pose of a child and feel yourself breathing really fully and deeply right back here into your low back. And then slowly come out into a kneeling position. And if you're all still with me, let's just do that little sequence again. And I'll talk you right through it, but it will be really much easier for you this time if you can follow along, okay? Coming on to tabletop position, find the position and find your inner hands. As you're ready, and you're beginning with the inhale, just feel the heart lift, tailbone lift, and your gaze goes forward. As you exhale, tucking the tailbone and the chin under and rounding the spine. Inhaling into the cow position and exhaling into the cat position. And one more time, inhaling into the cow position, find your inner hands. And as you exhale, into the cat position. Let your head and neck really relax here, and tailbone is tucked under. And slowly on the inhale, feel your spine going back to neutral. Bring your forearms to the floor. And then come into a forearm plank as you're ready. When you find the position, really tuck in your navel towards the spine. Press into the forearms and find your big toe mound. Let your neck relax. And then touch knees to the floor, coming into your dolphin pose. Tucking the toes under and lifting into dolphin, and then pushing the floor away with your forearms. And just allow the weight, again, find the big toe mounds, and just allow the weight to push the floor away, the forearms pushing the floor away, and feel your weight shift back as much as your body allows. Now slowly exhaling, letting the knees touch the floor, stretching out into the prone position, bringing the hands right back towards the chest. And then we can come into our cobra pose for 3 breaths. So again, tailbone is heavy, pubic bone is rooted as you round up. And feel very little weight in the hands. You want to let the back do the work. And so as you exhale, you're releasing down. And stretching the arms out, reaching. Just have a little locust pose now. It doesn't have to be extreme, but just really feel 100% presence as you inhale into locust, maybe reaching back with your arms as much as you can. And releasing. Let yourself rest for a couple breaths in prone. And then you're going to choose, do you want to do another locust pose, or would you like to do a bow pose? So pick your pose and come into your position as you're ready. Remember, if you're doing bow pose, you really need the shoulder and arm bones away from the floor, and you need to really press those feet into the hands. And then let's release. And after a breath or two, we're all going to segue into pose of a child. And again, one fist on top of the other. And just allow the low back to have a counter pose without coming into any really extreme flexion. You're having those 3 really long, full breaths. And then we're coming back into kneeling. Very last little addition, we're going to come into a camel pose. So come into high kneeling. And you can place your hands right on the small of your back, fingertips pointing upward, maybe flexing the toes under. And here's where you're really making this individual for your body. So what you're trying to do is spinal extension. Remember, that's the most important thing in a back bend. You're just extending your spine as much as you can. It feels like the spine is trying to come out of the pelvic bowl a little bit. Your heart opens, those shoulder blades roll, or rather arm bones roll up, back, and down, and maybe that's enough. If it doesn't feel like it's quite enough, of course, you know what to do. You can go further and as much into a back bend as you'd like. And maybe some of you can swim your arms back and touch your heels and try to come into as much of a back bend as your body wants to do right now. And for those of you who have come into the full pose with hands to the heels, you want to come out very slowly by tipping your hips towards your heels. And then all of us are coming into pose of a child. And again, one fist on top of the other for 2 or 3 breaths. And then if it feels okay, you can come on down to flat hands. And after a couple breaths, if that's okay, you might be able to come with your forehead right to the floor. So you choose how far you want to come into pose of a child. And you're trying to feel yourself breathe right into the back body, nice and slow and thorough. When you're ready to come up, it's just a nice gradual process, putting the fingertips to the floor, and just let yourself rise up. And from here, let's just briefly come and do a few standing poses. So you know what to do, you tuck your toes under, and even that is a little sequence coming up and into the standing pose. Remember, those thighs are nice and strong. And you come right into a forward bend, heels eventually to the floor and hands to the thighs. And we rise up from here. So as we all come to standing, let's go ahead and stand right at the tops of your mat. I'm going to face the camera for the time being, but you're standing right at the top of your mat. So you're coming right into your best Tadasana. Remember, it's fine if you want to have your feet a fist or even 2 fists apart from each other. So, or if it feels better, you can put your feet even closer together. But what I want you to feel is the big toe mound and the little toe mound and your heel. You know, that magic little triangle. That's what you want to push into when you come to standing. Just have some long, slow breaths as you arrive. Remember all of the aspects of Tadasana. That's so important. Just feel, does it feel any different after you've worked your back like you have? Does this mountain Tadasana, does it feel different? As you press into the feet the next time, turn the palms outward a little bit. And as you inhale, raise the arms over the head. And very much like we did in that first sequence, let the fingertips touch overhead and slowly release those folded hands to the heart. You can follow that with your gaze just a little bit. Make sure the tailbone continues to point between the heels. And then as you inhale, you're rising those folded hands back up again. reaching up nice and high. And then as you exhale, hands lead the way, palms rather lead the way, and you release the arms to the sides of the body. Very simple, and see if you can really align the breath and the movement. Palms roll out, and then you can inhale, raise those arms up over the head, and just allow the fingertips to touch, hands to touch over the head. So when you exhale, you can just fold those hands right to the heart. And then when you inhale, you're rising those folded hands back up again. Really reach and feel the spinal length. As you exhale, you just close it back out with arms to the sides of the body. One last time. As you inhale, reaching the arms up, palms lead the way. Press into the feet and really reach, and then let the fingertips and the hands touch over your head. And then as you exhale, release those folded hands to the heart. As you inhale, you're breathing back up again with those folded hands over the head. And then you're exhaling, releasing those arms right down to the sides of the body. Very good. And then from your position, standing right at the top of your mat, you're going to inhale just the arms straight up. And then you're going to exhale, a little bend in the knee, come into your forward fold. Fingertips touch the floor. Can you rise up when you inhale? Just a little rise in your heart. Maybe straighten the thighs a little bit. When you exhale, let's release down. Generous bend in the knee, as much of a bend as you need. Very good. And let's go ahead and try to do a little Pilates curl as we roll up. So what I want you to do is really feel a deep core engagement, and maybe the tailbone can tuck under now, and just feel yourself rolling up with really firm core and a little curl in your tailbone. Coming up nice and slowly like that, back into your mountain pose. Lovely. And then inhale, release the arms up over the head. And as you exhale, release the arms down and behind the back. And engage the core and let the shoulders roll up, back, and down. So just feel the opening and press the arms out away from the back if they'll go. But remember, you don't want these ribs to pop out, and you counter that by drawing the core really in firmly. Just have a couple breaths. And then release the arms. And from here, just separate your feet just a little bit more. And then from here, you're going to reach back with the right leg and come back as far as you can comfortably. Put the hands right to the hips. And then have a little bend in the front knee. That back heel might have to rise off. It's fine. We're just going to do a little warrior one. Release the arms so you can raise the arms up. Feel the spinal extension. Very good. And then let's just have a little experiment here. Go ahead and interlock your hands and see, can you put them right behind your neck? If you want, you can put it behind your neck first, and then interlock. Let the thumbs go down so you really feel cradled in the neck. And can you fan your elbows out, open the chest, and sink as low as you can into this very high lunge. It's a warrior one position. And can you feel really long in the torso? And just feel as much of a back bend as your upper back wants to do. One more really long, slow breath here. Release the arms. Sweep the arms back up one last time. And then from here, let's melt into a warrior two. You may need to rearrange your feet just a little bit and just feel yourself sink as low as you want to go. Release the arms, release the legs. Come to the center. Just heel and toe. And give a little hop and come on back. And again, stand to the front of the mat. Nice full breathing. We need to do the other side. So make sure the feet have a little separation. Bring the hands to the hips. Feel the weight in both feet. And then step back as long as you can with the left leg. You want to arrange yourself so all 10 toes are trying to point forward as much as you can. Bend the front knee. Come into your version of Warrior One. But what you want to do is really feel long in the torso. If all this is okay, just try to interlock your hands behind your neck. Open up in the elbows. Open up in the front chest. And come into as much of a bend in that front knee. The back leg is really strong. You feel even the inner groin on the back leg engaged. And come on into as much of a little back bend as you can with long, slow breaths. And then let's release. Arms come to the sides of the body. One last time, inhale, release the arms up and really give a little lift in your heart. And then let's come on out to the left into Warrior Two. And you might need to wiggle around, rearrange your feet just a little bit, but then you sink into Warrior Two, just your best Warrior Two pose for today. And then after maybe 3 breaths, let's go ahead and release it. Coming back, wiggling your toes around. I'll come face the camera. And then again, heel and toe. All the way back up to center, giving a little hop. Just let your breath come back to normal. Be really long and slow. Let's all come now to the floor for some nice cooling and closing poses. So go ahead and come all the way down now to the floor. And when you get there, have a really full body stretch. Bring the arms over the head and reaching, flexing those feet as if you're standing on a surface. And the next inhale, really breathe and feel the lengthening in the spine. And maybe you can even make little circles with your ankles and your feet. Keep breathing long, slow breaths and keep the extension in the spine. And then reverse those circles both in the wrist and the ankles. Very nice. And then one last time, reach with your arms, reach with your legs, and feel the midline or the waistline going in either direction, up and down, as you really get that lovely spinal length. And then release all that as you exhale. Bend the knees and draw those knees right into the body. Give yourself a little hug here, and then we've lengthened, and let's come into a little bit of a contraction now. Bringing the knees closer in towards the armpits or towards the chest as you feel the navel come closer to the spine. And if it feels okay, you might be able to tuck your chin towards your chest and then go ahead and let the forehead come between your knees. And just see if you can hold this position for another couple of breaths. And then let's release. First, if you've raised your head, lower the head first, and then come on back down. From here, just bring the right knee into the chest and stretch out the left. Nice full breathing as you bring that right thigh as close to the body as you can. And just a little bit of a spinal twist now. Take the left hand with the right knee and let the right elbow come right out to the right. And then on an exhale, just take that right knee as far over the midline as it wants to go. And when you get there, have a nice, long, slow breath. And then let's come on back to center. Stretch the leg up and exhale it down. And then bring the left thigh in. Interlock your hands so you can just guide it as close in towards the body as it wants to go, as it can go comfortably. Just have a couple breaths here. Let the right leg stay a bit active so the right foot is flexed as if it's standing on a surface. Lovely. And then you're going to take your right palm and just cup the left knee and bring the left elbow out to the side. Nice and slowly, because you're not missing a thing. You're going to take that left knee across the midline of the body and just feel what's happening. If it starts to feel, whoa, that really feels tight, just pause and breathe. As you exhale, let it come on back again. And then from here, with the soles of the feet on the floor, widen your stance of the feet, the width of the feet a little bit. And just start to go. Take your knees over to the right. And when you do that, feel a little bit more pressure on the big toe side of the left foot. And you might feel that all the way up into the hip joint of the left leg. And then inhale and coming to center. On the exhale, you let both knees come over to the left. And that's when you want to press just a little bit more with the big toe side of the right foot. Just feel whatever effects that has in your body. Inhale to center. And let's just do that a couple more times on either side. Over to one side on the exhale and pressing into the big toe side of the opposite foot from where you're pressing or pointing. Nice, long, slow breaths, and just feel everything just starts to sort of release and relax just with these simple little poses, especially if you do them mindfully. And then the next time you've inhaled and the knees are to center, one last time, bring the knees into the chest and just widen the groins, widen the thighs, and just go ahead and rock a little bit side to side. Just enjoy all those little sensations. Again, you're not closing down yet. We're still going to be fully present all the way through shavasana. And as long as you feel complete, we can start to find our way into shavasana. If you'd like to do any final little movement, feel free to do that. But eventually, we're all going to come right out into shavasana. Remember, in shavasana, you do want your legs separated a little bit and the arms away from the rib cage. And just let yourself settle and really feel grateful for what your bodies have done. You've really done a wonderful job today. Very good. You showed up and you stuck with the practice throughout with me. So just feel a lovely gratitude for that and for the fact that your work is done for right now. So just feel that release as you just sigh it out a couple times. Nice full breaths. Just for a couple breaths, try to let the exhales be a little bit longer than the inhales.
And start to feel that heaviness in your entire body. Now maybe in this shavasana you can allow it to be a little extended today. So you can continue just releasing in your shavasana for several more minutes if you'd like. I will sign off with you now. And remember, just continue for as long as your mind and body will allow. And namaste. Thank you very much. I'll see you in the next video.